Welcome to Thimble-Art. This is a companion video for our fall fold and stitch book. You can find it on our website or on Amazon. It's a great price with 12 amazing patterns. The first part of this video, we're going to flip through the book and show you an overview of what's in the book. The second part, we're going to show you a careful video tutorial of how to succeed and make each pattern. The video is time-stamped so you can go right to the one you're interested in and follow along, pausing when you need to take a little more time, rewinding, whatever you need to do to succeed. So let me flip through this book for you and show you how beautifully it's put together. Each pattern has a full color photo of the finished quilt with your yardage and different things to be aware of when you're choosing fabric. Then we have a step-by-step picture tutorial of each step with written instructions. Next comes a full pattern. You would copy the pattern. You don't want to cut it out of your book. Make sure you copy it for the number of sections that you're going to need. It will tell you how many times to copy it. Oak leaf one is gorgeous. Sunflower, it shows a couple examples, and there's your step-by-step for each pattern. Then we come into some Halloween. I like to do fun Halloween, not so much scary. Little ghost with the bats in the belfry. He's got the bats are what hook him together, and he's just funny. And of course, what's Halloween without candy? So we had to have a candy one. And turkeys for Thanksgiving. This is a gorgeous turkey. You make each turkey a different color theme, and they're just adorable. Really becomes a family heirloom. Pumpkin is one of my favorites. The shape in the leaf really pops. And you can make them all the same color, or like in this book, I make them kind of patchwork, each different color. Great way to use your scraps. The apple can be pretty much any fruit that's that shape, just depending on the color you choose. And the orange is the same. You could choose different fabrics for a lemon or an orange, or could even use an apple for that one too, if you prefer that pattern. The little groupings of the leaves are unique in that one. And of course the corn. I live in Indiana right now, so I had to do a corn. Anyway, great value. On the back you can see at one glance all of the amazing patterns that are there. In this really cute leaf centerpiece, we're going to piece a left and a right side of each leaf. And in review, paper piecing super easy. You're going to just copy the paper pattern. These pieces will be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So here we've got this last piece that needs to be added. You can fold the line between the piece before and the new piece. Cut a piece of fabric. Place it right side down past that fold so the bulk is opposite where it's going to be covered. Turn it over so that whole line, trim the extra of the seam. It will fold back and cover that last piece. So just a reminder, to remind you, here I've got another piece I'm going to do. I'm going to start with area 1, place a piece of fabric large enough to cover area 1 right side away, because it's placed right where it's going to stay, right? Pretty easy to do. Then I can fold the line between area 1 and 2. That will transfer that location. Whoops, I better place this that way. Okay, now I'll fold it, and that gives me a nice creased line. And then I put my little pre-cut strip 1/4 of an inch past that line, turn it over, sew the whole line, trim the extra of the seam. This will fold back and cover. And then the thing you want to watch is that you're putting that strip down big enough to fold out and cover this part of the pattern that's a little bigger than the part before. So you're going to have to make sure this piece is up higher than this piece, if that makes sense. Pretty easy to do. Then I cut on the dashed line down the middle so that I have a straight edge to sew two sides together. Now on this I chose the fabric pretty randomly, so I don't have any match left and right, just so I don't get that V look. So that is fun to make sure you match these seams. Then I'm going to place this right side down on backing fabric. This is one of those cool fabrics that goes different colors. So I'm going to have it go light towards the point and then batting. Then I'm going to sew on the outside solid line, leaving an opening here, cut on the outside dash line. At that point, once the shape is established and you cut it out on that dash line, you can then remove the paper. And then once that's done, it's pretty easy to turn it right side out. Here's one of the units finished. So this little leaf here will be attached to the next one, and we'll show you what that looks like. It's really cute with all of this paper piecing. Our project is finished. It just turns out gorgeous with all of this piecework in it. It wasn't hard. It's just done with strips, right? And it just turns out so adorable. And then these beautiful dimensional leaves cut the bottom of the bowl and just make it spectacular. So come to our website and find this pattern. We think you'll really love it. Now I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful oak leaf centerpiece. It turns out so cute. Now I've split the color on the back, and the reason for that is I would like, when I sew it together, I want each leaf to be a one solid color. So in order to do that, I need to split the back and do the two sections that meet be the same fabric. Here is a quilt where I didn't do that, and you can see how the leaves are split. And that's fine. If you want to do it that way, we have the pattern where it's not split, and so you can do it that way. But so what you're going to do is sew the two fabrics together and put them on backing and thin batting, and then we'll sew on the solid line, cut on the outside dash line. And you want to make sure that you're setting up the two fabrics so that they'll have a mate to sew next to, that will have the same fabric. Now I use the paper pattern for the in-between leaf, and I'm just going to mark that line so that it will be exact for each seam when I put this thing together. Okay, now this beautiful centerpiece with dimensional leaves is finished. Each leaf has its own fabric. It's not split down the middle, and that's of course because we split the backing, and we made these two backings match, these two backings match here, so that when the leaves came together they'd be the same fabric. It just turns out to be a really sharp looking centerpiece. So I hope this video helps you. This is a great pattern. Sunflower, so easy. Little candle wreath or centerpiece. We're going to show you just how fast this goes together. Now we've turned it right side out and closed the opening. You can close it with a machine stitch. Just turn it inside like it's a seam and then stitch across right on the edge. Then notice how nicely it's pressed. And the only way to turn these deep V's is to clip it. When you're grading the seams, clip it right close to the seam. Now this is the next step. Is really simple, but it's so much easier to see it visually. It was hard to write it in the pattern, so I hope this will help. There are 3 tucks in each unit. Each of the petals, flower petals, have a tuck, and this large one has a tuck. But you want the tuck to be so that the part that shows the tuck is on the inside. Okay, so here you have the large tuck. This is what's going to show. So you want the tuck to be like this. So fold it in half and then just do a little tuck. It's like,
1/4 of an inch and about an inch long, or smaller, it doesn't matter, but it really gives it a cute shape. Then on these petals, you want to fold it the other way. So fold the petals in half like this and do a little tuck right there, about the same, about an inch long, maybe a little bit smaller. Really doesn't matter on this, on the depth of the tuck. You just don't want it too big or it will close the hole. And there you go. So then when the thing is sewn together, all of these tucks are real tucks. They're not darts coming out. Does that make sense? Okay, we'll put it together now. Now we have our 5 units completed and tucked. We line up 2 units so that the yellow's together. And the pattern comes with this shape. To cut it out, the paper pattern, place it up here and mark that seam so it's exact. And then with the machine, just sew across. Okay, so the whole thing comes together like this. Then you can, they overlap here and you can tack those if you want. But look how cute this turns out with that little bit of a tuck in there. It's just spectacular. So I hope this video helped. In this video, we're going to show you how to make pumpkin with the bats, especially little face, because that's not on any other pattern. So we've put our paper pattern on top of 2 pieces of fabric that are right sides together. One is black for the bat and one is for the pumpkin, and thin polyester bottom batting. Then we're going to sew on the outside solid line, cut on the outside dash line, and we are going to leave a little opening right here for turning it right side out. Now this is turned right side out. It's really important when you are cutting it out that you took a lot of fabric out of the seam for the points, because there'll be too much bulk to make a nice point here. And also cut into the V, otherwise this will pull. You don't want to cut the stitches, but right to the stitches, and then this will turn and make a nice V, but then press it really, really well. Then you're going to cut out your felt shapes for the faces, and then with the needle just stitch around the edges with perpendicular seams going like this. It's like a blanket stitch, but not as fancy. You just go up and down and just make sure the stitches are perpendicular. Goes really fast. And then a little button for the nose is just cute. Then you're going to mark these seams with your paper pattern, sew them together just like the other patterns, and they make little bats. Super fun. I just wanted to show you how easy the face is, and you could do them with yellow too if you want it to look like there's fire in there. So I hope this helped. Now for the ghost, I've made my 6 copies, and I'm going to place them on top of 2 pieces of fabric that are right sides together and thin polyester bonded batting. Then I'm going to sew on the outside solid line, cut on the outside dash line. And this is what I come up with. It's open here at the top. So now I'm going to turn it right side out. But I'm going to use a method, straw and dowel, to make this a much simpler turn. This has some angles in it that might be tricky to get through that hole. I'm going to use a restaurant straw, a little bit bigger straw, and a dowel that will fit in the end of that straw. Now what I have found with this little ghost is if I pull this bat wing through the hole and then pull this whole thing through the hole, if I do both bat wings, it gets bogged down. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the straw to the end of that bat wing, put the end of the dowel in the end of the straw, and it helps it turn it right side out. The straw is not necessary. Once it starts turning, you can just lose the straw. Okay, so now I'm going to pull that bat wing through, Then I'm going to go in with the straw to the end of this draping part of the ghost. Put the dowel in the end of the straw and pull the fabric over the dowel. Once it starts turning, you can lose the straw and just start working that fabric up to the hole again. And then this will pull out. It's not so bulky that this part pulls out. Then I can go in with the straw again, put the straw up the bat wing, down on the end of the straw, start it rolling, and it will come out like that. Then I'm going to take it to the iron, make sure all the little points come out, and press it so I get a nice little shape. Now I've got my section sewn. I'm going to put the little bat wings, the black part, together and use my paper pattern to get that exact angle and stitch it. Then we'll open up to make the bat. Then I've added a little stuffing to the head, not a ton, but enough to give it a little shape. Then I've just done 3 gathers, and they're loose gathers, to kind of pull in the head and give it a shape. Then I'm going to do a ribbon around those gathers. I'm going to spend a little more time getting the bow to look nice and tack these down so they're not all over the place. This just turns out so cute. You'll have to train the little bats or tack them, but they all kind of make a really cool shape around the top of the ghost. So cute. You can do buttons for eyes if you want. This I'm just going to leave it with the theme fabric because it's so cute. I've got one more ghost to add and this little guy's done. To make the candy corn, super easy. You only have to make 1 copy and you can stack the layers. So I'm going to make 5. So I've got them stacked and then I cut them out on the outside dash line. Next, you are going to sew the different sections together, and if you need to pin them so that they match really cool, you can. And it can be 1/4 inch or a little bit smaller, but just keep it consistent. Once you've got it sewn together, press them, put them on top of backing fabric. I've used white here, and then thin polyester bonded batting. Sew all the way around, cut on the outside dash line, and we'll show you how to turn it right side out. Now I finished a lot of our candy corns. I'm going to show you a little trick here. I've cut the background in the shape of the candy corn, and then when I stack it, I put the batting on the colored side. That way when I'm slitting it, I don't have to slit through the batting. I can slit right there through that one layer. Then you can hand close them, web stitch the opening closed. I like to use this shelving paper. It comes in a roll, pretty inexpensive for a big roll, and I just will hot glue that there or tack it. Makes a great gripper when these are used for a table center. Also covers up the slit. Making the wrapped candy is super easy. The dimensions are in the pattern. You're going to make a tube like this where you just stitch across the long end, leaving a center opening. Then you're going to move that seam to the center of the tube and sew across the ends. Now it has this opening, so you're going to stuff it, just stuffing it in the middle third. Then you're going to take a needle and thread and go down, up, just like 2 stitches in there, and then pull it tight, wrap it, tie a knot so that it won't move, and do the other side, close the opening, and there you've got this cute little wrapped candy. Now I've hand sewn the gathers to the top of the candy corn. I would do 5 of these in a row to make my centerpiece. What I'm going to do with this, it's going to be adorable. I'm going to make several across and make a banner to hang on my mantle, underneath my mantle, right? For Halloween, it's going to be adorable. That's a really fun idea for a versatile pattern. I hope this video helped show you how easy this is. In this video, we're going to show you how to do this amazing turkey centerpiece. Looks pretty intimidating, right? But it's not. It's done in 3 layers. So you've got your head that's added last, the body that has these wings attached to it that are sewn together but to its neighboring turkey. Those fold out and make these fan shapes, and then the feather section. We're going to show you how that all goes together, and I think you'll see it's very doable. But wow, what an amazing pattern. It will be a family heirloom. It is so beautiful. We're going to paper piece our feather section. We've cut a piece of fabric larger than area 1. We've placed it on the unprinted side of the paper pattern so that all of area 1 is covered. Now I need to know where the seam line between 1 and 2 is, so I'm going to fold it. That will transfer that line to this side. I've cut a piece of fabric larger than area 2. I'm going to place it past that fold line so the bulk of the fabric is opposite the area I'm trying to cover. Turn it over, sew that whole line, trim the extra out of the seam, and then this folds back and covers area 2. And I'm going to do that across all of these feathers, and then this area 7 will be a larger piece of fabric that will cover this whole piece. Now for the feather layer, we've paper pieced each of these sections in the color theme that we want, and then we're going to sew them together on their straight edges. Press it, place it right sides together, the whole thing, on one whole piece of backing fabric and a layer of batting. Now the paper is still in the pattern so you can see the scallops. You're going to sew on the outside solid line that's the shape of the scallops, and then cut on the outside dash line, making sure you cut into the V's as close as you can to the stitches without compromising the stitches. That will help these scallops turn much better. Then you remove the paper, turn it right side out, and press each of these lovely rounded scallops so that they're shaped. Add a little batting to this area and machine quilt in between the feathers. At this point, you're just going to turn under this opening inside of itself and machine sew around to close it, and then the feathers are finished. When you're attaching the body, you also want to attach in the hole. Now notice they don't match. That's on purpose to save with the bulk, otherwise it's really a lot stacked up together. But just go ahead and stitch that all together. This never shows. Now I'm going to show you just basic paper piecing. For those of you that do this, it's pretty simple, but it's a little strange for beginners. So you're going to copy your paper pattern for as many units as you need to make, and for this turkey there'll be 6. You're going to put all your fabric on the unprinted side, and all your sewing is done with the printed side up. Now I'm going to start with area 1. The areas are all numbered in the order that you're going to attach them. Number 1 is the only fabric that's placed right side away because it's placed right where it's going to stay. Everything else is going to be stitched and flipped. Now we make sure all of area 1 is covered. Now I need to paper piece area 2, and I can fold that line that will transfer it to this side so I can see it. Then I cut a piece bigger than area 2, and I can place it right side down past that fold so the bulk of the fabric is opposite the area I'm trying to cover. Hold it, turn it over, and sew that whole line. I've got that done here. I trim the extra out of the seam, then it will fold back and cover that area I'm wanting to cover. Here I've done the second. Here's still the first, area 2. And I've made both of these the same and the next one's the same, just so that the little turkey will be balanced. Now we've taken our finished piece and we've placed it right sides together on some brown fabric. Now this brown fabric will be the body of the turkey, and we're going to make the head that goes with this turkey to match its body. And we've also stacked it with batting. Now we're going to sew on the outside solid line, cut on the outside dash line. At this point, you can take your paper out, but it's sewn all the way around. So how we're going to turn this right side out is you're going to slit one layer of fabric, and that will be on the colored side, not the brown side, right in the middle of the body, not where the wings are. And you're going to turn it right side out through that opening. Press it so that it's really well shaped. Now we've got them all sewn together. Do you see how we just put the colored parts, align them together, stitch them up, super easy, and then this layer is finished. Now at this stage we've attached the bodies, matching the colors, to the feathers, and you don't have to do a lot of tiny applique stitches. It doesn't take that much to hold those bodies to the feathers. The head is so easy. We've just stacked 2 pieces of fabric right sides together, and on top of batting, put the paper pattern on there, sew on the outside solid line, take the paper out, and then you're just going to cut one layer of fabric and turn the little head through that opening. When you're removing the paper, you want to make sure you get all the paper out of the seams. Now the gobbler is made in the same way, but you just can turn it through the opening here. And then you're going to gather across the top, the straight edge. Now the beak is really interesting. It's a 3-inch piece of fabric. You're going to fold it diagonal and then fold in like this, and then fold it again. That's exactly how you want it. Okay, now we'll put it together. Now the rest is super easy. We just whip stitch it to the back like this, and then we've whip stitched the opening of the circle, close the head. All of this doesn't show. It's just placed right next to the bird, and then a little button for the eyes. These pumpkins turn out so cute, super easy to make. The leaves are gorgeous, the little pumpkins so cute. Something to be aware of that's kind of fun to look at here is look at the contrast in these 2 pumpkins versus these, or the leaves, right? And the leaves are determined by the backing you put on. So when you're designing it, it just depends on what kind of look you like, but to be aware of. Contrast is so important in quilt designing. Okay, let's get started. Make 5 copies of the pattern of both pieces and place a paper pattern on top of 2 pieces of fabric that are right sides together and thin polyester bonded batting. The large piece has an orange piece and a green piece, and the small piece just has 2 orange pieces. Then you're going to sew on the outside solid line, cut on the outside dash line. Now both of these pieces are going to be sewn all the way around, okay? And how we're going to turn them is one slit through one layer of an orange side, okay? And we'll show you why that works really well. Now I've removed the paper. It's important to get all the paper out of the little seams, and also to grade it carefully when you're cutting it out. So if there's a V like this, you want to cut it right to those stitches. Don't cut the stitches, but right to them. Now you can see I've slit one layer of the orange on each of these. We're going to turn it right side out through those holes and make sure we press it carefully so that all the shape is well defined. Now we've got these units turned right side out, and we pressed it carefully so that the shapes are really well defined. And then you can mark where the leaf pattern is stitched. Just put your paper pattern right up there and mark it so that each seam is exactly the same. Now you can see we've got our slits. You're going to put these two together like this. You can put more stuffing in the center part if you want. Make it pop a little bit in the middle would be cute, right? And then the openings, you could hand close them, but you don't have to because they don't show, right? And then you're going to put two units together, the green sides together, and sew those seams. Then they open up, pop right open like that, and make those beautiful leaves. This is so easy and so fun to do. Makes great gifts. Just think of the possibilities. Beautiful. I hope this video helped. I'd like to show you a variation on this pumpkin centerpiece. You may find a really pretty print and you want the whole pumpkin to be that print. You don't want it disrupted with this oval in the middle. So here's a solution to that. You're going to start by making your individual pieces the same as you did your other pumpkin. So you've got an orange and a green stacked on top of thin polyester bonded batting. And the batting is next to the orange. Then I'm going to sew this time all the way around on the solid outside line, cut on the outside dash line. Take the paper out, turn it right side out, but we sewed it all the way around, right? So how we're going to turn it is by making a little slit on the back. Well, it actually can be kind of a long slit, but it's going to be in the middle, okay? I've turned it right side out and I've been careful to press so that all the shapes, little points, are well defined. Now I'm going to cut out the oval pattern, and with disappearing ink I'm going to carefully mark that oval, and also I'll mark the angle of this leaf, this stitch and fold line right here. Then I'm going to sew that oval with matching thread. Now through the slits I'm going to stuff that center oval. It's like a trapunto and it turns out beautiful. And then I'm going to hand close the opening, and I'm going to use this shelving paper. You can also use a felt. Just cut it out, place it over that opening, and you can hot glue it or stitch it, hand stitch it down. It becomes a grip for your centerpiece, and it doesn't distract. It looks like it's got function there, right? But when it's all done, I'm going to put all the pieces together, and it's just beautiful. It still has that little bit of dimension in the oval that's stuffed. It's got a real classic look, and it turns out beautiful. Now our trapunto pumpkin is all together. This is a different look, right? If you use the same fabric on the back and the front, all your leaves are the same and your pumpkins are the same. We still got that dimension by just stitching the oval and stuffing it from the back. It looks classy. So I hope this video helped show you how simple it really is. For the apple, I've made 6 copies of the pattern, and I've placed it on top of 2 pieces of fabric that are right sides together, thin polyester bonded batting. Then I'm going to sew on the outside solid line, cut on the outside dash line, leaving a little opening here at the top. Now we've sewn our sections together using the little pattern for the leaf so they're all exact. Then I'm going to do 2 small tucks. Divide this area in thirds and do a little tuck on each of the thirds, and that's going to give a cute little gathering to this piece. Then I've pre-made my extra leaves by sewing all the way around on the paper pattern. Slip 1 layer of fabric on the back down the vein, what would be the vein of the leaf. Turn it right side out and whip stitch it closed. Then I'm going to put that right in the center, and I'm going to stitch right down the middle like these 2 have been done. This is going to be so cute when they're all put on. Look how darling this apple centerpiece turns out. We've added the leaves that go in between. Just adorable with the little tucks that add some gathers. You can put this a bowl in the middle or take a pretty candle and put that right in the middle, and it just turns out so cute. Now the orange is similar to the apple, it's just a little bit different. So the shape is like this. You can see this is one unit. It was open up here so I could turn it right side out. Then I put two green sides together so that angle, make sure the angle's right because that's what will make it lay flat. Then when it opens up, it's got two leaves. Okay, then I've made the center leaf by sewing all the way around, slit one layer on the back and turn it right side out, and then whip stitch that opening closed. Now on this, I'm going to machine sew the vein down the middle of the leaf, and you can sew it on the orange or you can hold it away from the orange and sew it so it'll be more dimensional. It's up to you. Then I'm going to put the third leaf down the middle and machine sew down the middle of that third leaf, and you get this really cute cluster of leaves. It just looks different and it's fun. Then there is a small tuck down the middle of the orange that gives it this cute little ruffled shape on the orange, where the apple has two tucks and then the single leaf goes in the middle. This has one tuck down the middle and it just ruffles it, just so cute. This is very similar to the apple, just a little bit different arrangement on the leaves, and it looks cool. And of course if I used an orange fabric it would look more like an orange. This has orange theme in the fabric, which is really cute too. Now for the corn, we've copied our pattern, put it on top of two pieces of fabric, right sides together. I put the batting next to the lighter yellow color. Sew on the outside, solid line cut on the dash line, leaving an opening. You're going to trim it, take the paper out, and turn it through that opening. Then cut the pattern out for the leaf and mark the leaf. Then next you just start putting them together, and this just turns out spectacular. I'm going to go ahead and finish it, sew all the pieces all the way around. So all of our corn sections are put together and you get this cool design in the middle. I've done every other one where I've put the leaf on top, and that gives it a really cool look. You can use little plaids for the corn, any kind of fabric that kind of suggests corn. They used to make a fabric that was actually the corn kernel, so you might be lucky and find that. But this just turns out so cute. So come to our website and subscribe. We have new books coming. You can buy them as a download for an amazing price, or you can order hard copy and have it be on your bookshelf. So I hope you enjoyed this. We love being creative and love sharing. Thanks for watching.